Many of you want to use ywallet because their previous wallet ceased to work. It doesn't work, don't work anymore. And most of the time, it's transparent wallet, meaning that, well, if it's a shielded wallet, this is not applicable. There are two cases. The first case is whether you use a seed phrase, and the second case is if you have the private key. Okay, first case is if your wallet has a seed phrase, suppose a seed phrase. I'm going to generate a seed phrase here with 24 words. And then, okay, let me save the seed phrase. Okay, copy. All right, so I'll save the seed phrase, and I'm gonna turn to Zcash here. Okay, and based on B44, I have a bunch of addresses. So all these addresses here are T addresses. And if you have a wallet that uses seed phrases, they are going to put money in one of these addresses. The idea here is that to avoid repeating the same address, they will use an address only once and go to the next one automatically. So the first time you receive, they would show you, the first time you press receive address, they would show you the first one, the one that ends with QQJQ. And if you ask for another receive address, then they will give you the second one, the one that says 915H, and so on and so forth. And of course, all of these addresses have a different private key. So what's going to happen if you want to restore one of these is that many of these addresses will be without funds, but your funds will be in one of or a few of these addresses. And the difficulty of restoring this kind of account is to find which addresses have funds. So that's one way. And the second way is if your wallet just has one address and you have the private key for that. So there you have one of these. So for my example, I'm gonna assume that you're using a seed phrase, and you have funds in this address here. Right, so I will copy this address and then send some funds to that, and I will be back. All right, so our funds have arrived in this address. So we assume that this is the address that you want to recover. This is the address on the other wallet, and for which you have either the secret key or you have the seed. So let's start with the case where you have the seed. So I'm going to start. So I'm starting a new clean installation of ywallet, or installation that has no data. So clear all the data, and I can reopen here. Just create a new account. Right. So this is a fresh new account with 0 balance, and a fresh new shielded address, and a fresh new transparent address as well. So we can do two things. We can sweep. We can take the funds from the address where we have funds and import that into this wallet, or we can directly send the funds from that address to another address. It doesn't have to be this wallet. So let's go with option 1. Either way, you go to seed. So the source and the destination. The source is either a seed phrase or a private key, and the destination is either your wallet. If it's your wallet, then you have to choose whether you want to send it to your transparent address, your sapling address, or your orchard address. If you don't select anything, then you can also put directly an address where you want the funds to go to. And that can be any kind of address. It could be a transparent address, it could be sapling, orchard, whatever. And if you put an address here, it doesn't have to be an address of your wallet. So for example, if you want to withdraw the funds from an old wallet app that doesn't work anymore and directly send it to an exchange, well, you can do that by putting the address of the exchange here. Or you can also use the QR scanner and then scan the address on their website to have the address here. So I'm gonna Well, let's say that you want to send to this wallet on the transparent transparent pool. So the first case was I have the seed phrase. Okay, this is a seed phrase, and now you have two other fields. The first one is where you want to start the scan, because it's possible. When you have a seed phrase, you have a multitude of transparent addresses that the wallet can create or use. And so this app, ywallet, has to find the funds, where the funds are, and it's going to scan through all these transparent addresses until it finds a gap of 40 addresses without any funds. So that gap is the gap limit. By default is 40, but you can put it higher if you think that there's a large gap where you don't have funds and then suddenly you have funds again. Or you can put it lower if it takes too much time to scan. 40 is a fairly reasonable default. If you have 40 addresses with no funds, it's very likely that you don't have any funds later. And 0 is where the scan starts from. So I'm going to leave at 0 and 40, and then let's press OK then. So it's starting the scan. So as you can see, the scan takes some time, because this is not the first address. And in any case, because of the gap limit, it will scan at least 40 addresses. In our case, it's more than that. It's for like 48, 50 addresses. All right. So it found this 49.9, and this is the money that can be sent to your own wallet, to this transparent pool, because we said that we send it to the transparent address, and it found the 50 millisec. The transparent input is 50 millisec, but then you have to pay a fee of 0.01 millisec. So that's a standard fee, which means that we're doing a T2T, and the target is this internal transparent address. So if I press the arrow, the transaction will go. But I don't want to do that, because then I cannot do any other example anymore. So I'm going to cancel. Another thing now is I can change and send it to sapling. I'm going to reduce the gap limit because it takes too long. 10. Now we do the same search, but with a gap limit of 10. Okay, so that's the same stuff. We have a transparent input of 50 millisec. The only difference is that we are sending to a sapling address, and the fee is higher because then we're crossing the pool. So we have to pay on both pools. And the destination then only receive 49.85. The fee is just slightly higher. Okay, so that's the case if you have a seed phrase that you wanna sweep your funds using that seed phrase. I'm not going to do the case where you have put your own address, because it's fairly trivial. It's just put the address here. All right. So the second case is if you have a private key. All right. So I need to go back here, clear the whole thing, and then instead of entering a seed phrase, I'm going to enter the private key. Okay. If I put this private key, all right, and then I can do the same thing. So there's no scan this time. It's just going to use that private key. And the same thing is for the destination, either transparent, sapling, or orchard. I'm actually going to send it back to my own wallet. So, okay, so I have the address of my destination wallet in a clipboard. So I'm going to deselect sapling and paste that address. And then press the OK. So we have a sapling. Now we have a transparent to sapling. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to execute that transaction to get my funds back. And the only thing I had to pay was the fees in both directions. All right. So transaction is on the way. It should be mine. The rest is pretty standard.